Today we're going to talk about aeration tricks, de-thatching tricks, and overseeding tricks. Now these are all steps that go hand in hand: aeration, de-thatching, and overseeding. These are steps you want to do to get your grass as thick as possible, and I like to do it in the fall, so that's what we're going to talk about: fall aeration, de-thatching, and overseeding. So stay tuned to make sure you are not missing any of these steps we're going to go over. Welcome back, everybody. This is Mike with Jealous Lawn Care, and we are going to have a big job today. Now, as you can see behind me, it is fall, and just barely into fall. I mean, it is the end of September, and the grass is as brown as it usually is around this time, because you guys already know I don't water, but this is even worse than normal because of the fact that I already went through with a dethatcher. I'll show you guys a little bit of video that I did yesterday on that. This is the aftermath, and also I just had core aeration done. So this is going to be as ugly as you could ever see my lawn, and I'm showing you guys that because you guys love seeing other people with worse lawns than yourself. So this is as trampled and as brown as you can get, right?
So here we are. This is the first pass. You can see how much thatch is coming up with this first pass of the automatic dethatcher. So over here I didn't do anything yet in that strip, but this strip is a lot of raking left over I need to do. So this is pretty important to do at least every few years, just to get all that extra thatch up. You can see how bad it is. This has been a pretty bad year for us with no rain. So pretty much the backyard, you guys know that I do a lot of tests back here, so I don't really focus on it. I don't do really fertilizer. I don't water it. I pretty much just let nature take its course, especially while I'm doing all these videos for you guys back here. So you can definitely see that after dethatch, if you guys are worried, it will definitely look a lot worse. So you'll be like, oh no, all this brown grass. Now I already did the front yesterday, so this is quite a long process it takes, but it's 1,000 times easier than using a manual dethatcher. So I just borrowed this Sunjoe dethatcher, which I'll show you real quick how it works. It is very quick. The only problem is that it is corded, so you need to run a long extension cord, but it works really well still. You just have to fight with the cord a little bit. So now I'll show you from behind so you can see how much thatch is coming up. It's a little sunny right now, but hopefully you guys can see anyways. So on this automatic dethatcher, there are 5 different levels of how deep you want the tines to actually go. You can see the tines under there. That's actually what's doing it. And I'll show you a close-up so you can see this is what the bottom looks like. And it's nice and light, so it's easy to work with, minus the cord, of course. So that's about the amount that should come up. I mean, it's quite a bit, as you can tell. So after I do this, then I'm gonna rake it all up, and then I'm gonna go the other way. So I like to go crisscross. So I'm gonna go all, let's say, north and south, and then I'm gonna clean it all up. Then I'm gonna go east and west also, just to make sure I have a really good base. Because tomorrow I have my aeration coming. So I'm gonna do dethatching, then I'm gonna do my aeration, and then I'm gonna do my seeding, my starter fertilizer, my malorganite, everything. Throw it all down at once. All right, so this is gonna get me a nice good base for springtime. All right, and right now it is the end of September, so that's why I'm really pushing this
Right now, this is pretty much the best time here, and again, we're in Chicago, Illinois, so this is the ideal time, just when fall hits, to start this process of de-thatch, aeration, overseeding, getting your grass real thick. And make sure after this, we all keep in mind that we're all going to be watering for a month, every day for a month. So I'll go over my watering schedule again at the end of this video for seed that we always talk about. Hopefully you guys are doing the same thing.
What I wanted to show you also while I'm finishing here is stuff like this. This is really what I'm hoping to get at. So before I do my aeration and my seeding specifically, you can see this type of ground. All this, I mean, this is all dead. You can tell that this isn't coming back. This is the stuff I'm trying to de-thatch or rake up, whatever you want to do, just to get this up so you can see the bare ground, get to the bare ground, and get the seed onto the soil. And you can tell I can pretty much rake it up with my hand. I mean, that's how dead it is. Now you can tell if I have a brown patch somewhere else, there's going to be a lot that's just, you know, because I already ran a dethatcher, so it's going to be hard to find a brown patch right now after the fact. But if you do find a brown patch, like you can see right here, see I'm pulling on it and it's not really coming up. Another section over here, it looks brown, but that means it's not dead and it'll come back. So this is just dormant. A lot of this is just dormant, still coming back. Once you water it, it'll come back and thrive like it used to. But this kind of stuff, this will not come back. You can see this patch right here. This is just drought. And I let it go. This is the part where my sprinkler doesn't reach. When I do sprinkle, maybe once every 2 weeks as needed in a drought season. So this is the stuff you really want to rake up.
And so hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm going to be on and off with my microphone and also changing clothes because this is going to be, it's still pretty warm. So this is just the perfect time to be growing seed. So all of this aeration, dethatching, overseeding, this is all not a process you have to do every year. Although some do it twice a year, some do it once a year, some do it every couple of years. Everybody's going to dispute as far as what's the right time frame and how often you should do it. But for this video, we're not going to go there. I'll give you the basics and you guys can take it from there. All right. So this is something I like to do in the fall because if I do it in the springtime, you have to compete with all the weeds that are currently growing and also the weed and feed and weed pre-emergence. And a lot of those counteract the overseeding. The seed we want to grow. We need to grow new grass and fix all the bare spots and weak spots we have so that next spring you don't have weeds growing up, because that's what happens in the springtime. Weeds grow primarily in weak spots in your lawn. So that's basically all we're trying to do. All of this is just for getting new grass to grow well. That's it. It's just as simple as that. And also fixing your lawn, getting rid of some of that brown underneath, all that thatch. Because again, we can talk all day about what's the right thatch level. Is it this much? Is it this much? Is it this much? But if you haven't run a dethatcher or a power dethatcher in a long time, then you probably got too much. Even if you do your own bagging and you don't mulch. And again, separate topics, all separate topics. We've covered most of these, but this is very important, especially, I don't know about you guys, but I know here in the Midwest, we've had two, this past summer and last summer, which has been very, very dry. These have been two of the worst summers that I can remember as far as dry heat, and we haven't got much rain. So this is my lawn and how it looks. It's all been trampled on. I'll give you a quick little walkthrough as we talk. So this is how bad it is. It's not terrible. You know, there's still a little bit of green, but not much better than, you know, the neighbors. So there's the front. I'll show you my back later, but this is what it is. And you can tell all these cores, I just had core aeration. And this is a good time to get rid of any trouble spots. So you can see along the driveway, I still have trouble spots. Still trying to get that just right. I know what the problem is. I tried seeding, but because it's basically, we'll say 2 feet all next to the driveway where it's all bad, all the way down, 2 feet all the way bad. And the problem with that is because of the fact that the blacktop is creating a heat source, and blacktop is hotter than concrete, So you have this heat source. But then, even worse than that, what you have is the ground underneath it. When they put this blacktop in originally, there's lots of stones underneath. So it's not straight down. It doesn't go straight and there's grass and nice dirt. What happens is they pitched it, we'll say. So it's at an angle. So basically what I need to do is dig up all this. I'm going to say a good 6 inches. I'm going to get rid of all the 6 inches, which I know is going to be probably maybe 1 to 2 inches of dirt, followed by maybe 4 or 5 inches of rocks. So that's the problem, is this heat source from the rocks and from the blacktop. This is a big problem. Let me know if you guys have similar problems with blacktop driveways. And eventually I'm going to go to a concrete driveway, but it is what it is. That's going to be 10 grand later. A couple years for that probably. So that is the game plan. Let me know if you guys have similar problems and what you've done. I've even put down grass seed. I put down sod. I've changed the grass seed to make it not match the rest of the grass, meaning just to survive. Because obviously when it's brown next to here, this doesn't really match the rest of the grass anyways. So you guys know I love matching grass. But when the grass is brown next to the driveway, it doesn't match the rest of the grass anyways. Although it kind of does now, right? It's all kind of brown because it's been trampled on and aerated and dethatched, all that good stuff. But in general, I like my grass to all match. But I even tried last year putting down different kind of grass seed. Grass seed that's specific for, better heat resistance and drought. So thinking that would be better because it'll prevent from the heat source better and it won't die. But lo and behold, it also died. So everything goes great until I stop watering. I water with my normal watering schedule, which you guys have all seen and heard before. I do that for a good month, but then it dies as soon as I stop watering. And yes, coincidentally it is summertime, but regardless, either way, when you're not watering every day, even every other day, I stretch it to every other day, the grass will die on its own just because it doesn't have a good soil base. So that's what we're going to do here, is we're going to change the soil base. But we're not going to do it today. This is a separate project I'm going to do on my own, but I want to hear from you guys about this. All right? So these are all the products we're going to use today. So we are going to use grass seed. And I'm going to use actually a mix this time because I want it to grow really quickly, just in case we have an early October, early winter. Even though, yes, I did say we've only been a couple days of fall right now. Summer just ended, a couple days into fall. I want to make sure, because October we've had some, Halloween times especially, where there's been a foot of snow on the ground. We're in Chicago, you can never tell back and forth. I usually use all Kentucky bluegrass, straight Kentucky blue, but this time I'm going to use a mix just so it grows a little quicker, and especially Philip. I got more bare spots than I've ever really had before. So I'm going to take care of a lot of this all at once with a mix. And then, once I got the grass seed down, then I'm going with the Scott's starter fertilizer. I love this stuff. I put this down all the time, especially with new seed or sod. Then, we always have to put this down. Got to throw down some Milorganite for that long-term effect and a little bit of the iron. All right, so that is our game plan for today. And of course, you guys see my giant sprinkler here. Love the impact sprinklers. Yes, they do, shoot very far, which I like. And of course, you also lose a little bit in the air due to, condensation, evaporation, all that fun stuff. That goes right over my head, guys. But yeah, it's true, but I don't mind. I like the noise of the tss, 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 tss. So keep in mind, if you're gonna do this process, make sure you're doing it for a good month, okay? You're gonna need a month of watering. So if you can't guarantee that you can do this for a month, then don't even start the process, especially with the seeding. But you can always do the aeration and the de-thatching. So yesterday, I got the de-thatching done. I did that for the front and backyard. I haven't done the backyard in many years, so that really needed it. And also the front yard, I usually do by hand. You guys know I like to do that by hand, but I figured once every several years, I'll do it the power way. Get a lot of that up because, again, a lot of bare spots, you know, front and back just from not watering, and it's been really hot. So things happen, life happens, right? So first step before any of this even goes on, before the dethatching even, step one, or maybe even step 0 if you want to call it that, is you want to mow your lawn below the normal level. So once you mow it low, then you want to do your dethatching. This way you get up all that debris. Then after you do your dethatching, I would even recommend mowing again, maybe even 1 notch lower, just so you get all that debris, all that extra thatch that's in the ground, get a good base for your seed that's coming soon. Then the next day, or even the same day, whatever you want to do, you want to do your core aeration. And how much should it be? You want to ideally get plugs like this. This is about the size of a plug you want. So there's my finger, so up to the knuckle. Meaning in the middle of the process between de-thatching and aeration, you want to water your lawn. You don't have to water that long, but you want to get the ground moist. Because if it's too hard, the core aerator, you know, that big machine that rips up all these plugs, that's not going to do a good job. You're not going to be able to get as deep. So help it out and help yourself out by watering the day before the aerator comes. Okay? So that's a hint. These are all hints. I'm not going to do them like, hey, hint number 1, hint number 2. So you guys are going to have to pay attention. I know you guys love skipping around through the videos, and that's perfectly fine. But this video might not be as skippable, we'll see. So after you got your holes already in the ground, you can leave all these plugs out there. You don't have to pick them up. No need to. These are going to disintegrate on their own, decompose, and go back into the soil. I mean, technically, if you mow them up or rake them up or do whatever to it, you're kind of wasting your time and you're actually losing soil base. So no real need to. I know it doesn't look pretty, looks like a whole bunch of poop in your lawn, but it's okay, doesn't hurt anything. And again, the reason why you want to do this core aeration, we already talked about the dethatching, why you want to do that. Also, why you want to do the core aeration is because we have clay soils, a lot of clay soils nowadays, unless you're in a really old home, which lucky you know, but there's good and bad about soil versus clay. We're not going to go there. Separate topic again. All these, look at these, 1, 2, all these 5 different videos we could be talking about. But basically, simply put, you want to do aeration to help the ground, the soil base breathe. Okay? Let the roots expand. All that good grass wants to expand, just let it. All right? Then, after you do your aeration, what we're going to do, and again, the reason why we cut it really low originally is because of the fact that we're not going to be cutting it as frequently as we did before, maybe once a week. Now we're hoping to go every 2 weeks. Go as long as you can. Let that grass go as high as possible. You don't want to mow fresh seed or step on any of the seedlings because you're going to hurt or stunt its growth, possibly even kill it. So make sure you stay off the grass as long as possible. Usually you can get by with 2 weeks, especially this time of year in the fall. If it was the spring and it's raining all the time, you know, the fresh rain is actually different than watering your lawn. You know, it's got more nitrogen and stuff in there, so it's actually going to do a better job of growing the grass quicker because of the extra nitrogen. All right, so I know you got some people think that rain versus watering your lawn is the same thing. It's not really the same thing. Rain is so much better, but water is still beneficial, still helps in place of no rain. So after you have all this done, what we're going to do now is put down all 3 of these products. We're going to put down grass seed, and I'm using Scott's the mix like we talked about. Then I'm going to use the starter fertilizer and the Milorganite. So this is a great process in order to help your lawn get thicker and stronger and avoid the weeds, so that eventually you don't even need weed control or weed pre-emergence, because your grass and your turf will be just thick enough so that nothing can compete in there and grow, because it's just so thick. That's our goal, just like a golf course, really, really, really thick. If you have questions on spreader settings or something like that, we can go through that also. But right now, I want to talk about watering schedule, because the watering schedule is the next most important thing. Probably even the most important thing, because if you're not going to water, your seed's not going to grow. You know, your grass isn't going to expand in all those holes like you want it to, and basically you'll be missing out on a lot of this process. All right, so a lot of the people that say that this process doesn't work well is because of the fact that they didn't water religiously like you really need to. So the watering schedule, I say again to water for about a month. Now this may be extreme, but it depends on your grass that you're growing. I mean, this stuff probably, will grow in a week to 2 weeks, but it'll be fully matured in between 2 and 3 weeks maybe. So if this is normally my Kentucky bluegrass, that takes about a month. So it's different depending on your grass seed, but you can't go wrong with watering for a month. And you want to water in the first day, or actually in the first week, excuse me. So in the first week, you want to water, I water 3 times a day for 30 minutes. I know it's a lot, especially with, I'm going to be moving this sprinkler around pretty much all day, every day for the next while. So it's a big burden. This is probably the biggest burden, and also the extra cost of water. I know it jumps up my water bill like $150 just for this 1 month of watering. But you got to have nice grass, right? You guys are caring about your grass, so that's why you're watching these videos, and get the results from it, right? Don't waste your time and your money with the grass seed and the fertilizer, all this stuff. So time is money, and also money is money. So week 1, 30 minutes 3 times a day. Then week 2, 30 minutes 2 times a day. Then in the 3rd week, do 30 minutes once a day. And then in the last week, just do 30 minutes every other day. And again, these are all pretty deep watering, because you want to make sure that this seed, when you're throwing it down with the overseeding, it goes, ideally you want it to go in the holes, but it doesn't really matter because all the ground will be moist. That's the most important thing. You're putting it on moist ground, and you need the seed to soil contact. So that's another reason why we're doing the de-thatching. We're trying to get all the, basically the roots, we'll say, almost exposed. And of course you can't really expose it 100%, but this is as good as you can get by getting all that thatch layer gone. So now that this will go below the thatch layer that used to be there and hit that soil base. Then when you're watering it, it's going to take a lot of water, because it has to get down past the grass, which is still, let's say, a couple inches tall, and then it has to get down to the watering level on the soil where the seed is. All right, so that is why we water really heavy. So when in doubt, water more. It's not like you have a big patch right here and the seed's going to all fly around. You already have established grass here, so that seed is really not going to go anywhere unless there's like a big thunderstorm or something, and it just sweeps it away. But that is more so for spring. In this type of weather, in fall, it's really not going to happen. Depending on, I don't know, maybe people in Florida or something like that. I'm not a weather expert for all over the country, but I know for the Midwest, we're not getting any giant rains or monsoons coming soon. So this is a good time. This is why I like to do it in the fall. Okay, so that is the watering schedule. And I will go over real quick now spreader settings if you guys are using the same products as me. So it doesn't matter what order you do this. You can put down the fertilizer, the starter fertilizer, the seed. You can put them down different times of the day. It doesn't really matter which you put first. This one, that one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Doesn't really matter. So no need to worry about that, guys, because we're all putting it down at the same time, and then we're going to water religiously for a month. All right, you do the same process, I guarantee you'll have great results. And also, another reason I like to do that is right now it's end of September. Halloween is a month from now. So another reason I like to do that is because right now everybody's grass is about, we'll say pretty brown. Not as good as it usually is, but if you're watering now for a month, what's going to happen? You're going to have nice green grass. All this will fill in. This will fill up all the bare spots, and it'll be ready for Halloween, when all the people come around and check out people's houses and say, hey, how was your house? How was your house? They're all comparing grass types and the curb appeal. So make sure you guys are stepping up your game here, all right? So the spreader setting on the grass seed, this is going to be, we're going to use the overseeding rate. This is going to be at 8.5, okay, on my rotary spreader. And the lower the number, so 8.5 versus if you're using like a 5, the lower the number, the less is actually going to come out. So 8.5 is what we're going to use for the overseeding rate. And you can put down more. Grass seed is not going to matter with how much you actually put down. Then next on the list, we're going to use the starter fertilizer. This spreader setting is a 3.25. Again, you can put it a little harder down than what they recommend, but you don't want to put too much down because this is synthetic. This is not organic, and therefore if you put down too much, it could actually burn the lawn. So just stay pretty close to what they recommend. They recommend it for a reason. So this is the best thing for new grass. Then Milorganite. Hopefully you guys don't have to look at the bag and you know it's an 11.5. That's the spreader setting. All right. So that's our game plan, everybody. I'm not gonna show you guys while I walk it all out. You guys know how to use a spreader by now, right? Just turn this little knobby thing and pull and walk away. And I guess I will mention, so when you're spreading this, the Milorganite, you don't have to worry about overuse, meaning you can heavy hand it as much as you want. The grass seed, you can overdo it and put it down as heavy handed as you want. Heavier handed will only mean better results. It cannot hurt your lawn. You put down too much grass seed or too much Milorganite, can't hurt. However, this, you could. If you're overlapping and you're doing too much overlap between your passes, using synthetic fertilizers like this could actually burn a little bit, but shouldn't have to worry about that. Just stay close to the bag recommendations and you'll be just fine.
All right, so this is the after effect. I know some of you get scared when your grass is as brown as I convinced you to make it due to the aeration and the de-thatching. That makes it really, really brown, but now this is 2 weeks later and you can tell nice green grass. I no longer have any of these patches over there. So just wanted to give you a real quick walkthrough here of the front and show you, see some of the grasslings. You can actually see most of it is growing quite well. So this used to be pretty much all bare. I mean, I tore this all the way down. So this is the 2-foot section I had. And I'll show you the other side real quick. And also give you one more trick in case you guys want to look even better for Halloween. You know, it's all about making your neighbors jealous, right? So right here, kind of looks like his is greener than mine. It is a different shade of green. It's a little darker. So because of the fact that I mow real low, because I only want to mow every like 2 weeks, we'll say, as little as you can step on the grass, that's what you want. You don't want to step on the grass while all the seedlings are growing. So little trick for you, if you want the grass to look greener, you mow taller. So make sure you guys are doing the same thing for Halloween.
And make sure after this, you guys enjoy your lawn. You know, watch that sprinkler, let the kids play in the sprinkler, dog, cat, whatever you got, because we all need a little bit of the enjoyment, especially during these COVID times. That's hopefully coming to an end. And also after these brutal summers that we've had. I don't know, I think everybody's had a brutal summer all over the country. So comments, questions down below, please let me know. Make sure you guys let me know about the sides of your driveway, what you guys have done to combat this issue that I was talking about the pitched rocks. So make sure you guys let me know if you have the similar problem. I mean, everybody in my subdivision has it. Some are worse, some are better, but everybody has it to some extreme. So I've done, like I said, everything that I've done. Sometimes you guys know tricks and stuff that I don't know. So again, I'm just here showing you what I do know. Please, you guys let me know if you know something different or something that maybe I never thought about. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.